Yesterday, we had a tragic situation where 4 boys were killed on a beach in the Gaza Strip. It appeared to be a missile fired by Israel from the water. It appeared that way because there was a whole lot of foreign press that were staying right by that beach. They saw it, they reported on it, they took pictures, and of course, one of those reporters was for NBC News. He did a great job. Ayman Mohyeldin. Credit to NBC News there. He tweeted out right from the scene, 4 Palestinian kids killed in a single Israeli airstrike. Minutes before they were killed by our hotel, I was kicking a ball with them. Wow, right? And reporters from The Guardian joined him and other outlets as well in reporting this and showing the pictures in the video. And then he went to the hospital, took pictures there too. And here is one of the mothers who just found out that her son had been killed. So great reporting from on the scene, right? I mean, look, all those reporters from all those different outlets were on the beach that got hit. And one of the reporters talked about it took him too long to get out there to try to help those boys because he had to put on all of his protective gear, right? And so they're really in the middle of this fight and deserve a lot of credit for giving us, firsthand accounts of what happened there and the consequences. And Anthony Bourdain even tweeted about this, just give you a sense of how much reach it had and how many other people talked about this because of the reporting by the NBC News reporter here. And Bourdain showed one of the pictures that was sent out by these reporters, and he said, maybe it's the fact that I walked on that beach and have a small child that makes the photo so devastating. And that photo was devastating, of course, to all of us. So, now why am I telling you this story? NBC News has pulled Ayman Mohyeldin from Gaza. He will not be reporting from there anymore. He has committed an act of journalism. We can't have him in that area anymore. Unbelievable. Now, first of all, NBC News, of course, says, no. This is a safety issue. Like, didn't you just talk about how they got to put on all those vests, etc., so they don't get bombed? Okay, that's interesting. So then why is Richard Engel on the scene? They replaced him with Richard Engel, who's now there. He's their top foreign correspondent. Why are they endangering his life? They sent an American producer with him. The American producer doesn't even speak Arabic. Richard Engel speaks Arabic, and so does Ayman Mohyeldin, who's a U.S. reporter, by the way, right? Originally Egyptian heritage. He speaks Arabic as well. So they replace him with a person who doesn't speak Arabic in terms of the producer, and Engel, who's a great reporter. So initially, for a while, they were both there. Now, NBC News last night had a report about this story, but about the 4 boys being killed. So credit to them. Who did they use? They didn't use Mohyeldin. They used Engel, who at the time had just landed on the Israeli side. He's not even on the scene. Mohyeldin's on the scene. I mean, he couldn't have been any closer to the action, right? He saw it happen. They didn't use him. They used Engel. No, Mohyeldin's done. No. What are you doing? What are you taking pictures, showing what Israel did? That's unacceptable. If NBC News has a different explanation, we'd all love to hear it. Apparently, it was pulled immediately, and Glenn Greenwald reporting at The Intercept from inside sources at NBC. Pulled by David Verdi, who ordered him to leave Gaza immediately. He's a top NBC executive. So, Mohyeldin had been getting criticism from, quote, pro-Israel websites saying that he was too balanced. That he was reporting of course, in their language, the position of Hamas too much. Now, I've seen absurd things online today about how Israel can do no wrong, so it couldn't have been Israeli airstrikes or missiles in this case, even though every single reporter from every single outlet there said it was Israeli strikes. So it couldn't have been that. It must have been that everybody was fooled. It was Hamas landmines put on the beach. But the reporters were on the beach earlier. In fact, Mohyeldin talks about how he's playing soccer on that beach. Where were the landmines at the time? I mean, no, this is insanity. This is insanity. But Mohyeldin did the most dangerous thing you could do in American media. Cover the actual news as it is. So since pro-Israel websites were complaining about him, it appears that was one of the issues. Now, they've got some other, now we're guessing, right? Because NBC News says, oh, it was safety issues, even though I sent more reporters in and more producers in to that same spot, right? So they have no real excuse. So what are the other possibilities? Well, Mohyeldin had also said this at one point. The U.S. State Department spokesperson just said that Hamas is ultimately responsible for Israel shelling and killing 4 boys who were cousins aged 9 to 11 because Hamas didn't accept the ceasefire. Discuss among yourselves. Now, some are interpreting that as pro-Hamas. What? He said that he's reporting on what the U.S. State Department said, and he's saying that Hamas is ultimately responsible according to the U.S. State Department. He's quoting the U.S. State Department. No, we can't have it. We can't have it. Get out of there. Get out of there. Pull the chute. NBC News is an abomination. You wonder how we got the news we have in America today. You wonder how we have this establishment thought and no one ever goes counter to it. Because if anyone dares go against conventional thought, mainstream establishment thought, they're gone. They're literally pulled from the scene. People who go along to get along report the news as people want it reported, well, they get promoted. People who don't play ball, my guess is that Mohyeldin was shocked. I mean, he worked for CNN before, Al Jazeera. NBC paid him a lot of money to get him out of his contract at Al Jazeera to work at NBC. He probably thought, I mean, this is exactly what my job is. When he got pulled for doing his job, he probably had no idea what hit him. NBC News, what is it? What's your theoretical explanation for this? Okay, the reality is, for whatever reason, and by the way, as to the thinking of the executives at NBC, I have no idea. I don't know. I'm not going to get into any theories because I don't have any theories. I know that establishment line of thinking in mainstream media is that Israel can do no wrong, can never do anything wrong. Never, 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 never. Okay? Go watch television. You think I'm wrong? Go watch television. Okay? And there'll be slight things about the 4 boys killed. Okay? Hamas broke the ceasefire. What ceasefire? What ceasefire are you talking about? Hamas never agreed to a ceasefire. Hamas has done 100 things wrong, 1,000 things wrong, but they never agreed to a ceasefire. So that's Israeli government propaganda, and repeated 1,000,000 times over. And if in the midst of reporting on the 4 boys killed, you actually showed their pictures and you actually were there and you showed how compelling it was, go, get them out of there. Get them out of there right now. Now, the next reporter who's reporting on Palestinians killed, innocent Palestinians killed in the Gaza Strip, you know what they're going to have in the back of their mind? Remember what happened to Ayman Mohyeldin. Do I want to lose my job? Do I want to get pulled from the scene? Do I want to get on air? What do I want to do for my career? Well, the message is incredibly clear. And this is how the news in America has become sanitized. And this is just one particular issue on the issue of Israel. But I can show you 100 other examples, whether it was the Iraq war that we launched, and at that time the official establishment position was it is unpatriotic to oppose the Iraq war. We opposed it on the Young Turks. I believe that Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman opposed it, and I believe those were the only 2 national shows. Phil Donahue would have been a third. He was on MSNBC, yanked, gone. Jesse Ventura was against it. He had a show that was going to come up on MSNBC, gone. Ashley Banfield gave a speech against the Iraq war. She was on MSNBC, gone. Gee, I wonder how the news gets sanitized, and there's only one way of thinking in America, one set of propaganda. And, you know, again, on any given issue, you go to the banks, right? Shockingly, everybody's very skeptical about the Occupy movement. Yes, they covered, but Aaron Burnett does the smirky, look at them. They're supposed to be against the big banks, but they have iPhones. And almost every report is like that. If you did a pro-Occupy piece, well, I don't know how long that gets tolerated. You're risking your career if you go outside of the establishment thought. That's the main crime of Mohyeldin in this case. He actually did journalism.